Morning, Pasantos, dear friends. Today, I have the privilege to share with you my understanding of conflicts in Nigeria, which dates back from the post-colonialism era until present times. And the first part of my presentation, I will speak about the historical ground, which is the era before Nigeria created as a single independent state. And the second part of my presentation will be about complexity, the dynamic of conflicts in Nigeria, along with the major political events. The third part is about complexity and the nature of conflicts in Nigeria. And also, at the end of my presentation, I will try to explain about the resolution, which has been taking place in local, regional, national, or even regional level. And it's gonna be, I hope it's not going to be too long, but I hope you can bear with me. Talking about Nigeria, we talk about the most populous country in the African region, with over 180 million people living there, each with their own differences, either in culture, in religion, in language. And Nigeria, located in Western Africa, comprises of more than 250 ethnic groups and tribes. And also, because of this demographic reality, it makes Nigeria prone to conflicts. And to quote what Santos has said in our previous lecture, Nigeria can be referred to as conflict laboratory simply because all kinds of conflicts have been taking place there. And to get a better understanding about the conflicts in Nigeria, we first have to know about the historical perspective. So I'm not going to explain from the day it gained its independence, but from the day Nigeria was still under British colonialism. So this is the start, the geography of Nigeria. Nigeria is located in Western Africa. It borders with Niger in the north, with Chad in the northeast, with Cameroon in the southeast, and with Benin in the west. This is the historical ground before I explain about the conflicts in Nigeria. Why historical ground is very important for us, because I think all conflicts, especially in the developing countries, in the developing world, must have had its roots in colonialism. So this is why it's very important for us to start from here. The first is the formation of city-states, kingdoms, and empires. And I'm going to pick 3 examples for this presentation, and those are House of States, Oyo Empire, and Ring Kingdom. To put it simply, what happened in Nigeria pre-colonialism era is pretty much the same with what happened in our country, Indonesia. Because the territory in which now makes up the whole Nigeria, there once existed many states, kingdoms, and empires. And the most well-known, or I can say most relevant to this presentation, are House of States, Oyo Empire, and Ring Kingdom. Why? Because House of States, these 3 kingdoms, these 3 states, are the people of these respective states will be, in the later development, will be the 3 main ethnic groups which dominate the demography of Nigeria. House of States, we know that it's a home for House of Fulani group. House of Fulani group is actually a result of the integration of 2 different groups, Hausa people and Fulani people, but they share a common identity. Both are Muslim, so through intermarriages they are integrated, and they are now commonly referred to as Hausa Fulani. And they're basically they're based in northern part of Nigeria, and they're absolutely Muslims. And Oyo Empire, the dominant group in Oyo Empire, we know it's called the Yoruba people, the Yorubas. And territory which used to be the location of Oyo Empire was in western Nigeria. So it's no wonder that in modern day Nigeria, the western part of Nigeria is mostly inhabited by the Yoruba people. And the Ring Kingdom is mostly known as the center of Igbo commerce, Igbo culture, Igbo tradition. So Igbo people come from this region. And then we move to the second point is Sokoto Caliphate, founded in 1804. Previously, we know that the northern part of Nigeria is primarily inhabited by Muslim people. And its significance became greater when in 1804, Sokoto Caliphate was built by Usman dan Fodio, a Fulani. He was a Fulani. And the objective of the creation of the Sokoto Caliphate, it was actually a political expression based on the desire to establish a proper Muslim society in the northern region of Nigeria. But unfortunately, when Britain expanded to Africa in search of colonies, Sokoto Caliphate was abolished, and the northern part of Nigeria became the Northern Protectorate of Nigeria under British rule. Fast forward in 1901, Britain officially ruled in Nigeria, and just like any other Western power, Western colonialist, what Britain did was mainly about the fragmentation. So Nigeria was divided into north and south areas. The northern protectorate Nigeria dominated by the Muslim people, and southern protectorate of Nigeria dominated by the Christians. And because of this, it would later be a root cause of the discrepancy in the case of human development. And in 1914, eventually, Britain decided to merge the northern and southern parts of Nigeria to become one united state, one united entity called Nigeria, but still under British rule. The purpose of this amalgamation is actually to provide economic and administrative convenience. But this move by Britain actually would be the root causes of all ethnic conflicts that would happen in Nigeria after independence. In 1960, finally, Britain granted Nigeria an independence, and Tafawa Balewa became the first prime minister. So this is the photograph before we talk deep about this nation. This is the demography of Nigeria. As I mentioned earlier, that the demography of Nigeria are dominated by three main ethnic groups: the Hausa Fulani, the Yoruba, and the Igbo. And if you can see, this is the map. This is somehow there is a ethnic regionalization. North dominated by Hausa Fulani, east by Igbo, and west dominated by Yoruba. So this pattern or this demographic map is actually the legacy of British colonialism, because during their tenure or during their rule in Nigeria, Britain really divided Nigeria into several parts, mainly three parts. Because of the amalgamation that I have explained earlier, also in 1914, Britain forcefully merged this region to become one. It causes problems because these three groups are actually different. They have very striking differences, especially in identity. And when they're forcefully united, there is an ethnic competition, and it also causes conflicts in the majority of Nigeria's history. That is why, but Britain realized that this regionalization created a chaotic situation. So, with cooperation with Nigerian leaders, Britain created federalism with the purpose of cultural diversity, protecting the minorities, geographical factor, economic factor, effective administration, bringing government nearer to the people. This used to be the initial purpose why Britain created federalism in Nigeria. but it's not. It turns out to be ineffective because with this form federalism, conflicts still happen in Nigeria, or even worse. This is a characteristic of the three main ethnic groups in Nigeria, Hausa Fulani, I mentioned earlier. They're basically based in North, primarily Muslim, and this one needs to be highlighted. Dominating Nigeria's politics because most people in the federal government are Hausa Fulani, and this is actually there is a correlation between this fact, this reality, with the legacy of Sokoto Caliphate, because Sokoto Caliphate was built as a political expression, as a political entity. Thus, it leaves somehow a legacy to all the Hausa Fulani to play a dominant role in politics. And the next, Yoruba, based in West, when British ruled the country, the Yoruba, or the western part of Nigeria, was once a missionary target, and thus some finally embraced Christianity, but others still preserve their traditional beliefs. And for occupation, they are primarily engaged in agriculture. Ugbo, based in East, primarily Christian, and well known to be richer and more educated than the other ethnic groups because their acceptance towards British influence. Because North dominated by Muslims, there is somehow a resistance in British influence, education, trade, cooperation, and others. So it's really affecting their differences because Igbo was more open to the West influence. That's why they're becoming richer and more educated because they accepted West-oriented education, and also they formed or they conducted trade cooperation with Western also. So talking about Nigeria, I'm going to divide this presentation into four phases because Nigeria with its form of republic have experienced its ups and downs due to the military coup. So there are first until fourth republic, which I'm going to explain. This is the first republic, started from 1963 to 1979. Some of you might wonder, Nigeria already gained independence in 1960, but why we started the first republic in 1963? Because when Nigeria gained independence in 1960, it was still in the form of institutional monarchy, with Queen of England still served as the head of state. But in 1963, Nigeria finally became a republic, and it was also followed by a change in constitution, which places President of Nigeria as the head of state and Prime Minister of Nigeria as the head of executive. And next, the first military coup happened in 1966 under General Johnson Agui Ironsi. So in 1966, exactly on January, some young Christian Igbo officers led the military coup. This one is to be highlighted, Christian Igbo officers. So the officers that conducted the coup were Igbo people and also Christians. And unfortunately, during this military coup, many senior officers and also leaders were assassinated, including Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa, which was a north, which came from the north. And this really was the main cause of the conflict which later happened, because that time General Johnson Agui Ironsi, he pretended to be the mediator. He pretended to be the one who stopped the coup, who stopped the conflict, this military coup. But in later development, it was noted that actually General Johnson Agui Ironsi was only trying to seize the opportunity amidst the chaotic situation, to seize the power for himself and to gain power for himself. And after this military coup, he took the full power of the government, and Nigeria became under the military rule. And the next is the Igbo massacre still happening in the same year, 1966. This was actually caused by the fear from the North-based people of the Igbo domination, because what they have seen in the previous military coup, that the military coup was conducted mainly by the Igbo people, and the North-based people were afraid that the Igbo people or the Easterners were only trying to take full domination of the government, and it was also worsened by General Ironsi to create or to abolish regionalization with a unitary system. Because with this unitary system that General Ironsi was about to promote in Nigeria, it would only create equal domination, and other ethnic groups would be marginalized. So the Igbo massacre in 1966 was actually a counterattack by the North-based people to the Igbo people, who are mostly based on the east part of Nigeria. And in this counter coup, General Johnson Ironsi was killed, was assassinated, and finally, Igbo people going back to east, because although North was primarily dominated by the House of Fulani people, Muslim, but there is a little percentage of Igbo people, Christian people living there, and this Igbo massacre, aside from killing thousands of Igbo people in the North region, but also the result of Igbo people had to mobilize back to their homeland. The Second Republic. So when General Murtala Mohammed took over the power or the government from General Yakubu Gowon, he had a pledge to return the rule to the civilian. But unfortunately, he was assassinated. But fortunately, General Olusegun Obasanjo was a kind man and not going to benefit the power for himself. So he kept the promise of his predecessor. And finally, in 1979, he prepared all the things that need to be taken to hold or to conduct an election to give back the rule to the civilian. And finally, in 1979, there was an elections, and Alhaji Sheikh Shagari came to power through the election through a very democratic process. And the next one is Maitat Sani's riot in 1980. Maitat Sani riot in 1980 was basically a conflict in the northern part of Nigeria. There was a man called Muhammad Marwa. He actually came from Cameroon, but he resided in Nigeria, and he has an unorthodox approach to all his preachers. He referred to himself as a prophet, but ironically, he still successfully gained many followers, and somehow this growing movement is posing a threat to the Muslim community in northern Nigeria. So the local authority needed to take an action. That's the first. This Maitat Sani riot marks the first religious conflict in Nigeria. The next is religious crisis in Kano in 1982. It happened when in Kano there is an area called Bakrie, and there used to be a plan, project of church reconstruction, but the Muslim community in Bakrie truly rejected this plan of church reconstruction because they felt like it was reconstructed too near the mosque. So they did a mass protest. They they did mass protests on the streets, and they threatened that if this reconstruction still going, they would create another greater, or they would cause another violence. So because there was a police, there was police groups were located there to create or to ensure the security. The Muslim community in Kano turned their focus to attack the Christian settlement in Kano, which is located in Sakyagri. So this is also religious crisis in Kano because it's involving the Muslim and Christian community. Another military coup under General Muhammad Buhari in December 1983. Actually, with Nigeria had a leader from a very democratic process to election. It was actually a progress for Nigeria, but due to the very weak of political institution, political leadership as well, another military coup is inevitable. And it happened again in 1983. This time, General Muhammad Buhari accused Shehu Shagari to be incompetent and doing corrupt practices. So based on this, General Muhammad Buhari threw the government of Shehu Shagari, and he came to power to finally return the government to the under military rule. But not long after that, 2 years later, General Ibrahim Babangida seized his power. So it's actually another military coup because General Ibrahim Babangida overthrew Muhammad